All right, now I want to do a quick little spreadsheet working with dates. Dates are very important to a lot of Excel spreadsheets. So I'm just starting at a blank screen, and I'm going to figure out how old I am. So I'm going to put a quick label in here. Please follow along with me. I'm going to put my birthday. And over in B1, I'm going to put when I was born again. You can put in your birthday, not my birthday. 6, 13. Make sure you do the slashes. 1, 9, 5, 6. I am old. So this is how dates should go, right? Month, day, year. With the slashes, just make sure you put the appropriate month and day. There is no month 13. There is no day 31. It would know it. I just enter it in, and it treats this like a date. Dates are very special to Excel. It's a value, but a kind of a special kind of a value. So if I want to see, first of all, if I want to see, for instance, what day of the week you were born on, Excel knows all these dates, what they are. I can just change the way it looks, change the format of this date. So again, quick way of changing the format of values is on the Home tab here, under the Number group. I can hit the little arrow here in the corner, and I get my format of my cells, or you can actually just right-click on this cell too. A lot of people do. And it knows it's a date, and then how do I want the date to appear? This is an example. It will show me the day of the week, and then the month and the year like this, and I just hit OK. And boom, you can see I was born on Wednesday, and whatever day of the week you were born on. So any day of the week, you can do this for. I do this a lot of times when I want to know what day of the week is, like say February 3rd of this year. So I do my 2/3/2011, which is my daughter's birthday. What day of the week is this? And again, nice thing is the brush feature. If I don't feel like doing the same format commands over again, I can click here. I want the formats of this cell, so I'm going to use my brush. This should be your favorite button in all of Microsoft products, to copy the formats down to here. And then I can see the daughter's birthday is going to be a Thursday this week. So again, any day of the week you can do this for. But I want to see how old I am. So over here in D1, I have to put today's date in. And what I want to do is have a special way of putting today's date in. I just don't want to type in today's date. I want to have the computer figure out what today's date is, put it as a function that changes automatically. So it's very simple. It's equal today. Every function starts with the equal sign. Today, uppercase or lowercase, doesn't matter. And then just an open and close paren. Every function needs an open and close paren. The computer knows what today's date is, so you have nothing in between the parens. And then I can just enter this in. And there's today's date, the 14th. When you do this spreadsheet, of course, it's going to be different. So don't expect yours to come up January 1st, not January 14th. Yours will be different. So then I want to figure out how many years old I am. So I'm going to put a quick label in here. Years old. Putting this down in D5, and the cell next to it. How old am I? So basically, this is a value, this is a value. So I want to find the difference between these two values. So I'm going to do a quick equal today's date cell minus the day I was born. This will tell me how old I am in an interesting form. I enter, and notice it puts it in as a date. 1954. I want to see how old I am. Why it does this? Because I put a bunch of dates in, and it thinks I want the same format for this cell. I don't. I want to see a regular number. So a simple way to fix this, make sure you're on the cell, just hit the comma button. Boom. That's how old I am, right? Again, yours will be smaller if you put in your birthday here. Again, it's the D1 minus B1. This is how many days old you are, or I am, 19,938. Hopefully none of you are this old. So what I want to do, of course, is to make this into years. So I'm just going to edit this formula. Editing a formula, the way I do it, I just double click on the cell. I go in this edit mode. So what I want to do is I want to take the number of days, 19,000, and divide it by 365. So if I do this, divide by 365, this will not work because, again, same thing as the percent change. I want to take this minus this first and then divide by 365. So I have to have my parens in the appropriate places. Be careful. And I can enter. And there I can see I'm 54.62 years old. And this can be a problem, actually. I'm 54 right now. If I take off my decimal places, I turn 55, but I'm not 55 yet. And this makes a big difference, especially with a human resource database where you're keeping track of how old people are depending what taxes they get. You have to pay less taxes when you're 65 than when you're 64.95. So what I want to do with this formula, is round off, or excuse me, do the integer only. Again, if I add these two decimal places back, I want the 54 to be here, not the 54.62. I only want to show the integer. This is 7th grade math. You've probably forgotten this term, of this formula. So the integer would just be the 54, right? And it only goes to 55 when the whole number goes to 55. So it's kind of easy to do. I'm going to double click again to edit the formula. There's an integer function. So again, this whole formula, I want the integer of it. So after the equal sign, I do the int function, open paren, because every function has an open and closed paren, and then behind the whole thing, do a closed paren. So the integer of D1 minus B1, because D1 has today's date in, B1 has the day I was born, divided by 365. I just want the integer of it, and then when I enter, I'm 54. And then I can take off my decimal places, and then you have to trust me. Once it goes to 55 on my birthday on June 13th this year, it will go to 55, the double nickel for me. Dates, very easy to work with. One thing you have to watch out for dates is, well, if I want to see what today's date is to a computer, again, if I click on this cell here and actually how the machine stores dates, if I just hit the comma button here, this is how computers store dates. Today's date is 40,557. Again, it will be different for you depending on the day you do this assignment. But this is the number of days since the turn of the century, 1900. So since January 1st, 1900, this is the number of days until today's date. It's called the Julian date. This is how all computers store dates. But again, if dates come out like this and you want it to look like a date, you just go back and make the date format the normal way. But again, what happens behind is the Julian date. That's how the computer stores dates. So there's dates, how they work. We'll work with them later in the semester also.